It is time for the final race of the weekend here at Monza as round 4 comes to a conclusion. And what a round of racing it has been so far. We have seen our championship leader, Arvid Lindblad, take both wins, but they have been wins that have been far from straightforward. Fantastic battles in both. The first race providing one of the best races in Italian F4 history. The one this morning saw Arvid Lindblad having to defend from Kasper Stuka all the way to the flag, but he was able to put up with every single attack that Stuka threw at him. We have one more race coming up for you. First, let's go down to the grid and hear from the drivers, starting from row 3.
Car troubles in the previous race. What happened?
Yeah, I just lost power on the last lap. You know, it was a great race until then. So very unfortunate, but it's completely under our control.
And what are you?
We're hearing there from Akshay Bora about the problems he suffered with in the second race. It was confirmed that he had a loss of power coming through the first chicane, as many of us suspected, which caused the incident, which seen Alfio Spina going into the back of Akshay Bora, and subsequently we saw Tuukka Tarppanen go into the back of Alfio Spina, go in the air. He was had to be extracted from the car, but he is all okay. Let's go to James Walton.
In the previous race, not have bad results, but at all. But we know you want more. So, what's the plan to make it happen in race 3?
I think, as you said, it's been a hard weekend so far. So I think just maximising the results so we can come back stronger in Poricon.
And James Walton there with his eyes on the next race already. It may not have been the best performance by his incredibly high standards. He'd be the first one to tell you that. But one thing he has done is kept himself out of trouble, and he has benefited from that, because once again, there were plenty of penalties handed out in the second race, and they all came from drivers, it won't surprise you, cutting the chicanes and not giving time or positions back. 6 drivers in total receiving penalties for these reasons. They were Rashid Al-Daheri, Zachary David, Alfio Spina, Frederick Lund, Kasper Stuka, who finished in P2 on the circuit, and Ryuki Liu as well. So the big one there, of course, was Kasper Stuka. It meant he lost out on his podium finish. It promoted Ugo Ugachukwu to second and Brando Badouer to third place. And this is going to be the grid. 2 out of 2 for Arvid Lindblad. The job isn't done, though, yet. That were his words to me. Brando Badouer will start alongside him on the front row. Kasper Stuka with that penalty from the second race. He will start from row 2. That's where he qualified for this one. 65 thousandths off pole, exactly 1/10 off of pole position for race 3 was Ugachukwu. We heard from James Walton and Akshay Bora, all ready to go for this one. Thankfully, all the troubles fixed for Bora. Tuukka Tarppanen is okay. He will be on row 4 with Rashid Al-Daheri. Alfio Spina will go off road number 5, has raced hard this weekend. Ivan Dominguez will complete the top 10. Zachary David, not a good weekend so far. Let's see what he can do in this one. Nicolas Lacorte has been always fighting in that lead group. Gianmarco Pradel comes next. Valentin Klus will be alongside him on row number 7. Then we have Rafael Narak was involved in that big midfield battle in race 2. Aurelia Nobels clipped the curb coming through Parabolica, made contact with another driver, which tipped her into a spin. She's had a bit of a bad weekend in terms of luck and misfortunes. Let's see if she can recover. Egozi, Bilombakti, Elkin and Quintarelli complete the top 20. Jack Beaton is next, had got into a good position, but then just found himself in the wrong places at the wrong times and dropped back. He could be one to watch in this one. Andrea Frasinetti alongside Mateus Ferreira, the Alpine Junior. A bit out of position, he comes next with Ryuki Liu. Ethan Isher for Genta Motorsport will be on row 13 with Tina Hausman. Victoria Blokina just behind her. Finn Wiebelhaus will start in P28. Then it's Ismail Ahmed and Diego Della Torre. Frederick Lund will go off the back row with Guido Lucchetti. So that completes the grid for you. My name is Chris McCarthy. It's a real pleasure to be here watching on. Ian Salverstream, if you haven't been with us this weekend, cannot be here this weekend due to the WSK Open Cup going on over at Sarno, but is enjoying all the racing so far. He'll be back for the rest of the season, and thank you to Ian for asking me to step in for him on this round. It's been a superb round of racing so far. If you've missed all the other races, then you can go back and watch them. I do advise you go and check out that first race. It was absolutely superb. This taking place at a similar time to when that went yesterday. We were the first cars on track this morning, so we were on a bit of a green track and a warming up track. Now the track definitely very warm out there, so we'll see how they get on. They're going to be going full attack all the way throughout the race though. Just to confirm the result for you in race number 2 then, it was Lindblad, Ugachukwu and Badouer were your podium. Then it was Stuka after that penalty, he dropped to P4. James Wharton in 5th place, 5th and a 6th for him. So good points on the board, given that he's not running at the pace we'd usually see him at. Valentin Kloos did a very good race, actually finishing in P6 in the end. So good performance from Valentin. One of the best races we've seen for him so far this season, matches his best result. Nicolas Lacorte was next in P7, a good result given he found himself in the gravel coming out of Lesmo 2 after contact with Alfio Spina. Jean-Marco Pradel in 8th, Ariel Elkim 9th, Rashid Al-Deheri dropped to 10th place with that penalty. Now, I did sit in the Federale School, something that the drivers all have to attend after every single race, where they will be shown the incidents from onboard perspectives and why the drivers have been given penalties, and the teacher of the event will explain to them exactly why these penalties are handed out and advise them on how to correct these things going forward. A very good thing that the ACI Sport put on to try and teach the drivers and help them develop. They are in the very first stages of their single-seater careers. The main talking point, I guess, was cutting the chicanes, and the guy said, if you're in a position where you have to cut the chicane, that is absolutely fine, but you have to give up the speed and give a position back if necessary, or at least let the gap close down. It's been a big talking point of the weekend so far. As I said, 6 drivers penalised for that last time. So let's hope we see no more this time, and good to see that Akshay Bora's car is fixed and any other drivers who are involved in incidents, and Taponen is okay as well. I did speak to Arvid Lindblad as well, congratulated him on his win, but he said the job is not done yet, still one more to go. He wants to take 3 wins out of 3. Which we have seen done in the past. The last driver to do that was Ollie Behrman on his way to winning the Italian F4 title. Dennis Hauger also did it in similar fashion in 2019. He's going to be the driver leading away. He was confident he could break away, so it's going to be a battle down to turn 1. Brando Badouer alongside him will want to get by into the first corner. Any one of the drivers on the top 2 rows, given from what we've seen so far, can be the leader by the time we come out of the Rettifilio chicane. 32 drivers on there in total. This round 4, race number 3 of the Italian F.4 Championship, certified by the FIA. 30 minutes plus an additional lap at the end to come. To the left of screen, Badouer. To the right of screen, Lindblad. For the last time this weekend at Monza, we are go in Italian F4. Good start there from Kasper Stuka on the second row, and I think he might slot into second, and indeed he does. He's behind leader Arvid Lindblad. As we go down to the Rettifilio chicane, he's going to stay in the middle of the circuit. Ugachukwu, just like he did in race 1, going round the outside of Brando Badouer there, who does make contact slightly with the gravel. Oh no, that's Tuka Taponen, round and spinning out of the Rettifilio chicane, contact with another driver, and Tuka Taponen, his race might have come to a very early end there. Hopefully we'll be able to have a look back at that one. I don't know if it was Nicolas Lacorte who he made contact with. That Prema driver was slowing up, coming out of Curva Grande, is going again as they all come now into the Roggia chicane. Are we going to see a safety car deployed here? That's Akshay Bora in the green and black, trying to get down the inside of one of the Prema drivers. I think that might be James Wharton. He is fighting with the Ferrari Junior. It is into Lesmo 2 now, side by side in the midfield. Hard to make a move into that corner. Alfio Spina did pull it off in race 2 though. The The incident at turn 1 is under investigation as Akshay Bora there now getting down the inside of James Wharton as we come up towards Ascari. Good move made by the US racing driver. He is going to go through and into 5th place. Was absolutely devastated with how his race 2 ended. A loss of power coming through the first chicane. Whoa! Well, there comes Nicola Lecorte out of absolutely nowhere. Rejoins on the exit of Ascari. You've got to be really careful doing that. Even Dominguez got a penalty for an unsafe rejoin at exactly that point as Akshay Bora is passed by James Wharton into cover Alboreto. Oh no, someone's lost a front wing. All going off in the middle of the pack here. A slowing PHM car that looks like. And we're going to have a car with a missing front wing pull into pit lane immediately, no doubt, as we're side by side for the race lead here. Tuka Tarpanen, I think, got going again. So green flags into the Rettifilio chicane, locking up there. Kasper Stuka, Arvid Lindblad will hold on to the race lead. So Tarpanen did get going. Biram Bhakti was the car with the missing front wing as we're 3 wide into the first chicane and 3 cars going off. They've got to be really, really careful of this. They've got to make sure they're giving the time and positions back. And there we can see the number 57 of Biram Bhakti now with a new front wing on the car. Side by side once again. Stuka's going to try and go round the outside. Almost made it on that occasion. Had to cut the chicane and will now give the place back to Arvid Lindblad. Exactly what we saw in the second race earlier today. That happened multiple times. Will we see a change of approach from Kasper Stuka this time? Smoke coming out the back of Brando Badouer's car there. Not too sure if the Italian is picking up a problem. We'll find out, but it looked like there was a bit of smoke pouring out. Not too sure if it was anything that could see the Italian having to pull up, and he's looking in his mirrors. Looks like he's potentially slowing down here to me. Up to Ascari. There we can see pouring out the back of the car. Oh no, I think that could be possibly the end of the race for Brando. And he's trying to get out the way of James Wharton. Almost contact. But what a shame. Brando Badouer, who's driven so well this weekend. 2 podiums out of 2, a second and a third, but we will see no more of him in this race as a lunge down the inside into Curva Alboreto there by Kasper Stuka. Well, he needed to change his plan, and that's exactly what he's done. But Arvid Lindblad allowing him through. We've seen Arvid do this once so far this weekend. Take the lead away from me, that's no problem. I'll just go straight back past you down the start-finish straight. But look at Uga Chukwu there in the red and white colours. He's trying to get by as well. 3 wide we go into the Rettifilio chicane. Who's going to emerge from this in the lead? Arvid and Ugo going wheel to wheel through the first chicane. Fantastic racing. And Uga Chukwu leads the way as we come out of the first chicane. Brilliant stuff by the 2 teammates, both giving each other just about enough room there, and Lindblad will now lose a place possibly here to Kasper Stuka, who's tucked in behind the McLaren Junior Uga Chukwu as we go down towards the Rogier chicane. Uga Chukwu defending now from Lindblad, who got a tow from his teammate and managed to take that second place back. This is a look at the start. Uga Chukwu going round the outside to take third, just looking to the right of screen. Let's see what happened to Tarpanen then. Look for the red and white Kramer there, makes contact with Alfio Spina in the yellow and black and white colours, the BBM driver. So made contact on the exit. Bit unfortunate there, that's where the front wing flew off Biram Bhakti's car into the air. Thankfully wasn't collected by another driver. This is what we just saw. Uga Chukwu just about keeping it on the track. That is superb racing from both drivers. One of the moves of the weekend for me. Don't know how on earth he stopped that car in time. We saw him doing trying to do a similar move on the first race when he was defending, actually. Locked up the brakes and just went straight over the chicane. Was later penalised for it. So we catch our breath back and we watch the top 3 possibly do the same thing on this lap. A little bit further back, that Prema car is James Wharton going wheel to wheel with his teammate Rashid Al Daheri in the Yas Heat colours as they come on to the start-finish straight now. They are fighting over P6. Chasing the leaders down are Akshay Bora and Ivan Dominguez having his best run of the weekend. But Uga Chukwu now defending from his teammate Arvid Lindblad, who knows the move around the outside is on, and he's going to give it a go. Oh, but given no room there and has to go straight over the chicane. So he's going to have to give that place back now to Uga Chukwu. Arvid Lindblad has stayed in the lead of the race. Kasper Stuka tucked in behind in third, and Lindblad now slowing down, but where does Ugo Chukwu go? We're going to be 3 wide coming down to the Roger chicane here. Right to left, it's Lindblad, Ugo Chukwu, then Stuka to the outside, and Ugo Chukwu is back into the lead, but Stuka and Lindblad going side by side, and Stuka once again has to cut the chicane. Tucked back in behind, Akshay Bora given a black and white flag, not too sure what that's for exactly, could be for track limits or cutting corners, but he is closing in on the top 3 and he brings Ivan Dominguez with him. Down to Ascari, the gap between 3rd and 4th in this race, 1.8 seconds, but that is quickly coming down. Akshay Bora, P4 in the queue, he is fastest on circuit so far. And it's down to 6.5 tenths now between Lindblad in 2nd and Bora in 4th place. He's getting closer. He lost all power in the 2nd race. He'll want to make up for that. He'll want to get his first podium, and he's bringing with him another driver who will want to do the same, Ivan Dominguez. Here we go then, down to Curva Alboreto. Rashid Al-Daheri leads the chasing pack. Say what we now could call the chasing pack. You've got James Wharton just behind, side by side, a little bit further back here, one of the RS GP cars. They're trying to go around the outside, having been attacked. I think that you might have seen James Agozi, possibly the driver making a route. Rafael Narak was the one to the outside, but it's side by side between the 2 teammates, McLaren versus Red Bull Junior drivers, going wheel to wheel. And once again, Lindblad left no option but to go straight over the chicane. Ugo Chukwu there saying, you are not coming round the outside of me, politely showing him to the outside. And Lindblad left no option but to go straight over the chicane, and Ugo Chukwu, just like we saw, it's almost a repeat of last time round, will go back through. He is 60 points behind Lindblad. Stuka tries to get down the inside and does. Great driving there from Kasper Stuka, round the outside and down the inside there of Arvid Lindblad, who's going to drop down to P5. Akshay Bora comes through into 3rd place. Dominguez comes through into 4th place. Lindblad down to 5th. He will not be happy with this at all. This is good news though for that man in the lead, Ugo Chukwu. After the penalty when he won the race yesterday, now 60 points behind in the championship. He really needs to start closing down, and this would be a good place to start. 25 points would be on the board for him. We used the same point system as Formula 1. 18 for Stuka, 15 for Bora, 12 for Dominguez, 10 for Lindblad. So if it stayed like this, it would be very, very good news for Ugo. The American leads us down to Curva Alboreto. It's got a little bit of a gap here. Is this enough to make a breakaway? This was the move then. Stuka going round the outside. He's tried this so many times, and this time it actually worked. You can see why drivers are very forceful in their defence through there, because if they lose a place in that fashion, then this is exactly what happens. On the exit, they are very slow, and they can lose up to 2-3 places. Lindblad, no, the recovery starts here. Here comes the Red Bull Junior, down the inside of Ivan Dominguez. Dominguez not fighting in very hard there. Just lets Lindblad go through. He knows he can tuck in behind Arvid now and try and get after the rest of the field and make some more places. So I'd say that's a good driving from the Portuguese driver. Thinking ahead in this race, and you look to the top left of screen, you'll see there's still a long way to go, just under 20 minutes plus a lap. The gap's coming down between the top 2 as well. Stuka is getting a tow from Ugo. Ugo is not getting a tow at all, and that means this gap is coming down now. Ugo Chukwu into the first Lesmo. Stuka 2nd, Bora 3rd, Lindblad in 4th place, Dominguez in 5th. Then we have a gap to Wharton and Al-Daheri, who have swapped places, sorry. They are 1.5 seconds behind these guys. Here's James Wharton now, the Ferrari Junior. Is he working with Al-Daheri here? Are they now just saying, right, let's stop fighting with each other and try and get after these leaders? Alfio Spina is being passed in the background. The BVM driver under pressure from Gianmarco Pradel. I think Pradel might have made a place there. Zachary David a little bit further back. He'll want to try and get after the leaders himself. Black and white flag going to Jack Beaton. But I'd say the gap has now been diminished for Ugo Chukwu. Next time round, I think we're going to see him defending here from Kasper Stuka, and we could see a change for third as well. Watch Arvid Lindblad on Nikhil Bora. There's Alfio Spina losing a place to the number 12 of Gianmarco Pradel, and on the exit he could lose more. Valentin Klus and Rafael Narak there. Narak to the inside, and now to the left of screen, the number 76 down the inside of Valentin Klus as they come down the start-finish straight. Got to be careful, he's got to give him space. On the grass there in the background was Klus, as we did see a change for third a little bit further up as well. Arvid Lindblad going by Akshay Bora. Fastest lap for him as well, 1:53.184, no surprise. He's got his eyes set on his teammate, and I guess you could still call championship rival Ugo Chukwu, who leads the way. Ugo Chukwu now defending from Stuka as we come into the Rogier chicane. No need to really defend that time, but it's getting closer, isn't it? The man to watch is Arvid Lindblad in third in the Red Bull colours. He is going to be hard in his attack here now, having lost 3 places last time whilst trying to fight with Ugo Chukwu for the lead. He will want to get past straight away, and he will be getting his elbows out if necessary. I am sure he has got one eye on the championship, of course. Getting no points would be a huge loss. Getting third place would be damage limitation for him, and good damage limitation as well. Through Ascari, brilliant watching them come through here, especially when they're in the line. Look how close together they can stay. And as we come down to the final corner, Curva Alboreto, you see they can stay very close through there as well. Ugo Chukwu leads us down to the corner we all knew as Parabolica. 5 in a line for the lead, split by 7/10 of a second. 2 seconds then back to James Wharton. 2.6 made that. Oh, one of the Van Amersfoort cars there having a big moment coming through Alboreto. Managed to just about save it in the end. Bora then tucked in behind Lindblad, and Lindblad is going to go defensive there. Bora is now going to get a tow from Stuka ahead as we hit the brakes into the Rettifilio chicane. Who are we going to see emerge in third place? It's going to be Lindblad, championship leader, stays in third. Bora wants a podium here. Arguably deserves it after the performances he's been putting in, but Lindblad wants 3 out of 3 victories. He's not going to give this place up to Akshay Bora at all, and Bora's going to go to the outside. Stuka tucked in behind Ugo Chukwu ahead. It's the battle for third place we're going to keep our eye on. And Bora there, not trying to fight round the outside. Doesn't want to lose any time to the top 2, wants to keep that at a good gap so they can stay in that fight for the lead. Akshay Bora has got his eye on a podium or a win here, the way he's driving so far. Lindblad likewise. Don't count out Ivan Dominguez as well. They're in 5th. We'll keep an eye on the gap as well to the drivers behind. Altaheri and Wharton have swapped round once again. So in the top of picture you can see it's Altaheri in the Yassit liveried car leading the way now. And Wharton is being caught by the likes of Zachary David and Gianmarco Pradel. Frasinetti has been given a black and white flag. Here we see them coming through Rettifilio chicane. Brilliant pictures there as that was Akshay Bora. Lindblad defending in that. Akshay Bora just tucking in behind him. Look a little bit further back. Alfio Spina third in this queue, dropping back a little bit in this race. It could lose another place here. Struggling slightly, it seems, as he was almost losing it through Parabolica there. Right, Ugo Chukwu's going to have to defend here now from Kasper Stuka. Did think about defending and then came to the racing line. Kasper Stuka, we haven't seen him really put in a big challenge yet for a couple of laps. Is he waiting? We thought this could be the case with Arvid Lindblad, but it turned out he just couldn't quite get past him come the final couple of laps. So I think Arvid was in danger of breaking away. And here we go, Kasper Stuka's now going to have a go into the Rogier chicane. Can't get through there. He has been successful in passes coming into the final corner, coming into Curva Alboreto. Is that where he's going to try here on Ugo Chukwu? As the weekend goes on, don't forget, in race 1, it was the first race for many of the drivers around this circuit, and so they were learning how to race around it. Now they've had 60 minutes of racing, make that 75, so they know each other's tactics. They know the circuit very well, they know where to defend, where to attack, and that is why I think we are seeing them so evenly matched and almost unable to get past each other at times. Let's see what Lindblad can do. He's got a bit of a gap to Akshay Bora behind him now. He did set the fastest lap of the race not so long ago as well. So are we going to see an attack here from Lindblad? Is he going to try and get by into the final corner? Ugo Chukwu knows that's the place where Stuka attacks, so he defends only slightly, and it's cost Stuka time on the exit of the corner. Lindblad is going to draw side by side. Who is Ugo Chukwu going to give the toe to? It's going to be Stuka, and that's going to leave Lindblad no option, I don't think, but to just slot in behind Stuka. In fact, he's still got a very good run, isn't he? Stuka's struggling to get back up the speed of Lindblad. And Lindblad is going to stay side by side on the brakes. He will complete that move for second place. Good driving by Arvid Lindblad. I thought Kasper Stuka might have benefited from a toe from Ugo Chukwu there, but whatever happened to him in the middle of the corner, losing time, a bit bogged down, that cost him a position. So it's Lindblad into second place. But he now has to defend from Kasper Stuka coming into the Rogier chicane. And just there, just trying to run him as wide as possible, and Stuka has to cut the chicane. Once again, Lindblad not giving a place up that time at all, not after what happened last time. But now, Ugo Chukwu has broken away. Oh no, but he runs wide out of Lesmo 1. Our leader briefly all over the runoff strips there as Akshay Bora tries to move down the inside at Lesmo 2 on Kasper Stuka. We are probably racing now in Italian F4. The gloves are off as we head down to Ascari. The battle for third, look at it there. Akshay Bora, he's going to try and move down the inside into Ascari. We haven't really seen this all weekend, but Akshay Bora is going to pull it off and get himself into third place. Great driving from Bora. Stuka drops to fourth. Dominguez still there in fifth place with the best seat in the house for all of this. And now the top two have escaped, and Lindblad has closed the gap down to Ugo Chukwu after that mistake the American made. Through curve at Alboreto. Stuka having to slot in behind Akshay Bora. Dominguez in fifth place. Down the start finish straight we go, and you can see Akshay Bora pulling to the inside there. Stuka goes to the outside as we head down the start finish straight. We are side by side for third place. We are side by side for the race lead. We are three wide almost for third, but here comes Lindblad round the outside. Oh, contact between the two leaders. Ugo Chukwu is spun round. Lindblad comes out in the lead. Ugo Chukwu gets going again. First and second in the championship and on the road, coming together at the Rettifilio chicane. Big drama here in Italian F4 in race 3. Lindblad's going to surely have to give some time back now. Out of all of this, we can see Akshay Bora in second place now. But here we see the move from Bora into Ascari. Gets down the inside, Stuka just about giving him enough space to draw alongside, and Akshay Bora took the place. Great driving from him. Right, this is what happened between the two leaders then. Lindblad trying to go around the outside. Oh no, Ugo Chukwu's locked up there. Contact has been made. Oh, a mistake there from the American. Here we see it. He's locked up completely, and that's what's made contact and put him round. He won't be happy with himself for that one at all. A mistake there from the McLaren Junior, which sees him make contact with his teammate and sees him facing the wrong way. He has emerged in 13th place. Lindblad, what does he do now? How much time does he actually need to give back here? That's going to be the question. I don't think you can really argue he was at fault for that one. It looked like an unfortunate racing incident that was caused after that lockup. The two leaders side by side through there on several occasions. This time they made contact, so in the wars, and not for the first time this weekend. So Akshay Bora in second place. That could be our main viewing point now. This is, I think, where all focus will be on, as Lindblad has escaped out front. Unless we see a safety car, this is going to be a battle for second here between Stuka and Bora and Dominguez, and Aldeheri is getting closer. Stuka then to the inside round Curva Grande. He's got a great run out of the first chicane. We can see to the inside, that's Akshay Bora to the right of screen, and he's going to lose the place there to Kasper Stuka. Stuka going through into P2, Bora P3, P4 is Dominguez, P5 Aldeheri. Getting closer, he'll be hoping that these guys just keep fighting as they are. It's bringing him into play. 1.5 seconds back now. That was way over 2 seconds, almost 3, not so long ago. It's coming right down. He's not alone either, is he? There's James Wharton. Behind Wharton, Zachary David. Behind that, Jean-Marco Pradel. Ugochukwu, his recovery has started. Needs to get back into the top 10, but that's really bad news for his championship hopes. 60.5 points back from Lindblad already, and that's going to be dramatically extended now. This is going to put Lindblad in a position here where it's going to take him not finishing a couple of races for anyone to realistically catch him up in 3 rounds. He's already 60.5 points ahead. This is going to put him well clear, almost reaching the likes of 90 points, possibly clear from the rest, 80 points maybe. So he will be in an incredibly good position. You can see a member from McLaren there having a chat with the team. Unfortunate contact, as I said, between the two drivers fighting over the lead. Ugochukwu had made that lock-up, but just colliding wheels before the corner, getting wheels tangled with each other. A real shame there, but we will let the stewards deal with that one and call the race on as we see it. Stuka in second place, Bora in third, Dominguez in fourth. Lindblad's lead 3 seconds currently to the rest of the field. Let's keep an eye on this gap though between Dominguez and Aldeheri. It is still coming down. It's less than a second now. Getting very close. This battle for second is beginning to break up as well, isn't it? I think Stuka is setting the pace that Bora and Dominguez in particular are struggling to keep up with. Now there's not much battling going on for a race lead. The pace has increased in that group. And Akshay Bora is doing his best to stay on, but Stuka is making it very difficult for him, isn't he? It's allowing Aldeheri to get closer though. 1 second, but the pace and the tempo of this race has certainly upped. Lindblad, definitely a driver who is causing that. Breaking away out front after that tangle with Ugochukwu, which saw the American facing the wrong way. Round cover Alboreto, on to the start-finish straight. Who else do we have in the top 10? Well, Wharton, P6, Zachary David, as I said, in P7. Jean-Marco Pradel next. Then it's Rafael Narak, who's come up from P15. He's doing a good job. Nicolas Lacorte next in P10. Valentin Klus, who's 11th. Egozi 12th, but he has a just behind him. We can see you'll be able to pick out this second of the red and white framers in this queue coming down is Ugochukwu, and he goes through into P12, so that's a place made on Egozi. Valentin Klus will be next. If he can get past his teammate, Nicolas Lacorte, he will be into the points. And that will be a single point on the board for him. All he can do is try and get as far up the order as he can, and realistically, he's looking at a P7 at best here, unless there is a safety car, of course, and then anything can change. And as ever in racing, things can change very quickly, as was demonstrated by the tangle we saw between our two leaders there. They've been fighting away with each other all weekend, those two. Of course, we did have the penalty after race 1. Race 2, we saw Lindblad take the win. Both were on the podium. And battle between them ends in dramatic fashion. But this is only round 4. Don't forget, we've still got 3 more rounds of racing coming up after this, as Nicola Lecorte just having to defend there from Valentin Klus. Someone's off in the gravel. You can hear it just to the left of the screen. You might have caught a glimpse of a car off in the gravel. I think that might have been Valentin Klus. That is just a assumption, though, given on what we saw going on into the corner. We will find out as they make our way down to us. Is that Valentin Klus we see who has gone onto the gravel? Let's find out. The 19 and the 47. Oh, look at that. Wow, the number 10. So it was Valentin Klus. Well, made a mistake there. Made big contact with the curb on the inside. And you can see in GTs you can use those curbs like that, but in these cars you really cannot. And that's exactly what it's done to Valentin Klus. Has sent him flying in quite dramatic style into the gravel. Managed to keep going. We sadly have lost Alfio Spina, who was struggling for pace and dropping back. Ariel Elkin as well, and we lost Brando Badouer earlier in the race with smoke pouring out the back of his car. Real shame for the Italian. 2 podiums out of 2, very easily could have been 3 if not a race win in this one. So Lecorte, who was in that battle with Valentin Klus, holds the last point in this race so far. But will he keep it? Ugo Chukwu is closing in. We're about to see a battle start between these two here. We saw a battle between 2 Kramer teammates for the win, and we're about to see a battle between 2 more over P10. Incredibly good field of drivers here, so getting in the points is always an achievement when we've got 32 on the grid out there. Rafael Narak is ahead of them. This was the battle for P7 between Zachary, David and Fadel. And that's, I think, the best Ugo Chukwu could do, but he'd need those 2 to really start fighting away with each other. And he needs to get past Lecorte very quickly if that's to happen. That is a bit ambitious even to say that, isn't it? But with 1.5 minutes plus a lap to go, we're going on to what will be the penultimate lap of the race now. Stuka doing a really good job there in 2nd place to get a gap over Akshay Bora. Black and white flag to Valentin Klus for hitting the curb in the fashion he did and going off onto the gravel. This is the battle between Ivan Dominguez and Aldeheri. Now Aldeheri has been working extremely hard to close this gap down. It's been a bit of both there. I think Aldeheri has kept up with the pace that Stuka and Bora are setting, and Ivan Dominguez has not been able to do the same as the race has gone on. And that has seen him drop into the path of Rashid Aldeheri. We could see a last lap battle between these 2. We could see it change into Lesmo 1. Does Ivan Dominguez have a problem here? Because he just allowed Rashid Aldeheri go through. Yes, he does. He's slowing down. Ivan Dominguez has a problem with that car. We saw Brando Badouer, his teammate, have a problem earlier in the race. Unfortunately, we are seeing problems now. Oh, and the spin there. That was Lecorte fighting away with the 48 of James Egozi. And Egozi facing the wrong way. Well, we did say things can change very quickly. Dominguez, if he's forced to retire from the race, that'll be another place gained for the likes of David Pradel, Ugo Chukwu, and so on. Here's what happened then. So Lecorte to the outside and, well, just hitting the curb. James Egozi, I'm not sure he had anywhere else to go, really. Hitting the curb, and that saw him spinning round. And Dominguez is slowing down. What a shame for the Van Amersfoort driver. Not what he deserved at all after that performance, but it can be a cruel sport sometimes. And Dominguez is going to have to come into pit lane. A real shame. He's put in an absolutely superb drive and deserved big points on the board today, but he will no doubt come back and fight for the rest of the season. We've seen him on the podium once this season already, and his performances like that. Okay, let's go back to this battle for what is now 6th place. We're on to the final lap of the race. Zachary David, Jean-Marc Pradel, Rafael Narak, and then Ugo Chukwu is catching them up. and he will try and make as many places as he can. He really has nothing to lose in terms of a championship perspective. There comes Dominguez. Perhaps just an unfortunate coincidence we're seeing two cars from the same team having to pull in there. I think so. And that's a real shame for Dominguez and the Van Amersfoort team, really. They deserve good points today. They'll be back at the next round. And Arvid Lindblad will be back himself. As you can see, actually, we'll come out to that, because look at the gainers. Jack Beaton has done well, Ethan Isher, Ryoki Liu as well. 10 places gained or more for the three drivers I just mentioned there. Superb performances. Well, we've seen drivers take 3 wins here before. Matteo Drudi back in 2014 in our opening season. Zhou Guanyu for the Prema team back in 2015. We saw Dennis Hauger take a triple win in 2019 himself. Ollie Behrman also taking a triple win in 2021. The last driver to take a triple win for Prema in Italian F4 was Zhou Guanyu in 2015. Arvid Lindblad is about to repeat that now. It's a triple win for the Red Bull Junior and Prema Racing driver. Will he be on the path to join Zhou Guanyu at the very top of motorsport in Formula One? He has the backing from the Red Bull Junior team, and he is absolutely delivering their backing so far. Superb performance from Arvid Lindblad. 3 wins out of 3 for him. Kasper Stuka finishing in P2. Akshay Bora rounds out the podium in P3. A superb performance from Akshay to take his very first podium in the Italian F4 Championship. And Kasper Stuka adding to podiums. This time, I don't think there can be any question penalty-wise for him. He will no doubt hang on to that. Arvid Lindblad had a bit of a dramatic run to getting that win, a bit of side-by-side contact with Ugo Chukwu earlier in the race, but did a great job to get himself back into a position to go and fight for the win, and he executed when he got into it. 3.076 seconds there ahead of the rest of the field. Absolutely superb performance. Stuka in third, Akshay Bora in Stuka in second, Akshay Bora in third, and that is now win number 6 of the season for Arvid Lindblad. He's only been off the podium twice this season. One of those finishing P5 at Spa, the other he retired after contact with Stuka. He is driving like a man who has one hand on this trophy already and is well on his way to putting 2 hands on it. Superb performance from Arvid Lindblad. And he's really showing why Red Bull put support in him as a kart driver and took that support with him into Italian F4. He has a very bright career ahead of him, there's no doubt about that. Rashid Al-Dahiri, what a fantastic performance from him to the right of screen as well. P4 today, that's his best ever finish in the Italian F4 Championship. James Wharton, a solid P5. 2 P5s and a P6 for him. 6th place for Zachary David. That's more like it from the US racing driver. Gianmarco Pradel, 7th place. Well done to him. That's a really good performance from him and his best result of the season. Rafael Narak was next, then Ugo Chukwu getting 9th place ahead of Nicola Lacorte. Jack Beaton, 10 places gained for him on his way to 11th. Valentin Klus finishing 12th. Ethan Isher was on a charge getting up to 13th. A shame he doesn't quite take any points, but nevertheless he'll take a lot of confidence from that performance. Ryoki Liu likewise. Mateus Ferreira P15, Quintarelli next in Taponen, Nobels, Frassinetti, Egozi, Blokina, Hausman, Wiebelhaus, Ahmed, Lund, Delator, Luchetti, Budambakti, Dominguez retired with 1 lap to go. Spina, Elkin and Badouer also retiring. But climbing out of his car is the British driver Arvid Lindblad. 3 wins out of 3. The first Prema Racing driver to do that since Formula One driver Zhou Guanyu. He's driving like a champion. He's driving like a man who looks very set to win this title. A worst on-track finish of P5 and 6 wins in the process. That is absolutely superb, and he's carrying a lot of confidence around the paddock, and you can see why. Brilliant stuff from the Red Bull Junior driver. And I think Red Bull, who have had a weekend off this weekend, will be incredibly happy watching on with that. Kasper Stuka, well done to him as well. Well done to this man. Akshay Bora, first podium for him. Not the last, I'm sure, as well. What he deserved after the mechanical fault he got whilst running in the top 5 in race 2 earlier. Kasper Stuka, he's fought for the win pretty much every single race so far. Didn't quite get one, but P2, he'll take that. And Arvid Lindblad moves into an incredibly comfortable championship lead now. 3 wins out of 3. Let's go and hear from him.
So you did it again, a fantastic triple for you.
Yeah, it was a difficult race. Yeah, I think the beginning was really difficult, to be honest. In the beginning, you know, to lead the race was tough. I don't think I was driving perfectly, but it was difficult to keep them behind. I was having to defend, and then Ugo I think was really strong in that point in the race, and I didn't have a perfect defense. I could see he was really pushing to try to win. You could see from the way he was driving, so I tried to be smart all the time, but then I dropped back a bit after incident with Kasper, and then yeah, I came back through. The pace was really strong, and then I got to Ugo and I passed him around the outside. Yeah, super happy. So yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, yeah, thank you.
Well done to Arvid Lindblad. He will go on to the podium. A triple win here at Monza. Great stuff for him. This is where it all started. He didn't stay in the lead the entire race, but he would lead us down into the Rettifilio chicane for the first time. And an absolutely superb. We had a drama for Tuukka Tarppanen behind, making contact with Alfio Spina. That's probably why we saw Spina having to retire from the race. This is where we saw Kasper Stuka take the lead from Arvid Lindblad. Arvid Lindblad and Ugo Chukwu went side by side. That one of the best moves I think we've seen all weekend from Ugo Chukwu. Lindblad then side by side with Stuka, giving good racing room, and he would be punished slightly for letting Stuka get through. A good move from Stuka though, and it saw Lindblad dropping back to P5. But the recovery process started. He went past Dominguez, he went past Akshay Bora, and then went on his way to try and catch up the leaders. This is when he got past Kasper Stuka. Stuka just getting a bit of a swapper on coming out of the final corner, and Lindblad went down the inside and took second place back. Then it was a battle for third place. It would soon become second. Akshay Bora getting down the inside there. This is where we saw the tangle, side by side, a lock-up from Ugo Chukwu, and facing the wrong way. Something that I'm sure these stewards will take a look at. A real shame for Ugo Chukwu, but Lindblad would go on now in a comfortable lead ahead of the rest of the field as Stuka went back through to second. Good run through Curva Grande. That put him back into P2, left Bora in P3. But we haven't seen Prema do this, a triple win at Monza for the first time since 2015 when Zhou Guanyu did it. Arvid Lindblad now repeats that process for them. Gets himself 3 wins and an incredibly comfortable lead in this championship. Are we looking at our future Italian F4 champion and a future Formula 1 driver? It's looking very likely with the performances he's putting in. So this is where the championship is now. Look at that. Well clear, 80 points clear from Ugo Chukwu. James Wharton a further 18 points back from the American. Stuka is next, Badouer in 5th, then David, then Taponen, Lacorte, Bora and Spina. Arvid Lindblad, it will take, I said it already, a couple of DNFs really to close him down. But things can go wrong. We've seen what happened to the Van Amersfoort drivers today in the Dominguez and Badouer. Mechanical faults can happen on cars. You can get yourself on the wrong side of incidents. So they will keep pushing on as we head to Paul Ricard next in a month's time, the 21st to the 23rd of July. Then will be Mugello and Vallelunga as we see 23 drivers with points on the board so far. This was the incident once more. It's going to be the big talking point there. Both of them going very deep on the brakes. Lockups coming from both drivers. Ugo Chukwu tried to make the move, and it left Lindblad out in the lead. triple win at Monza. Very, very special for a Prema Racing driver. We've not seen many do it. He's the 4th driver in history to do it, joining Zhou Guanyu, Dennis Hauger and Ollie Behrman. And all of them in very good positions, Formula 2 and Formula 1 so far. We've got our drivers out onto the podium. US Racing put 2 drivers on the podium. A very good day at the office. Bora to the right of screen, Stuka to the left. Lindblad, our Red Bull Junior for Prema Racing in the middle. All 3 wins for them this weekend. US Racing, though, that's a special moment for Akshay Bora. Well done to him. He's been putting in a lot of work. His brother Nikhil, who's racing in Freca, I'm sure will be very happy watching on. He did a really great performance today. Stuka fought very hard all weekend. Clean drives from him all the way throughout. Lindblad, all 3 wins. And on his way, possibly, to putting 2 hands on this title. 1 hand on it so far. There is no better podium in motorsport. Well done to Akshay Bora for his first one. A good first place to do it. Well done to Kasper Stuka. Arvid Lindblad really taking it in there. This will be something he remembers throughout his whole career. It's been a pleasure to be here. Ian Salverstream will be back to call you through the action next time we go racing for round 5 of the Italian F.4 Championship at Paul Ricard on the 21st to the 23rd of July. Thank you very much for your company this weekend. Until Paul Ricard, it's goodbye.